Welcome to Geek Philosophy, where we love geeky wisdom. If you're new to the channel, my name is Brian, and today I wanted to share a little geek philosophy about our new tabletop role-playing game, Subsetting, designed with kids in mind. And I wanted to invite you to participate in a playtest for this new exciting campaign world. You may have already seen my Guardians of Getika introduction video, but for those of you who haven't, let me give you a quick overview. Guardians of Getika is a fantasy role-playing game subsetting for kids and adults. You see, throughout the world are mysterious creatures known as Frights. And these Frights cause mischief and problems all over the realm, and they feed off of the fear of others. And the players take on the role of guardians who defend the realm against these frightful creatures. But there's a catch. Only kids and elders can actually see or even remember the Frights. The rest of the world is completely unaware of their existence. And it's up to the guardians to protect the realm from this unknowable threat, all while maintaining the facade of normalcy. While I'm developing my own simplified system to kind of go along with this campaign setting, you can use whatever game system you'd like to run a Guardians of Getika game. Just keep in mind, it's designed for younger players, so try to simplify any rules that you have accordingly. So even though I may refer to some things that are 5e specific, please don't let that stop you from trying any system or setting that you'd like to use with this. The important thing is to realize the setting and the concept rather than the rules. As a game master, just focus on this basic premise. The world is being threatened by the Frights, and only the Guardians can stop them. Now, the Guardians of Getika are a group of kids who have volunteered to join an organization within the Royal Academy. And while they're still learning alongside the other kids at school, they're also taught how to defend the realm against the Frights. The Guardians are mentored by the Elders, who were once Guardians, but they forgot about the Frights and the mission as they grew up. That is until they got older. Then the Elders remembered their childhood adventures and returned to the organization as mentors. With the help of the Elders, the young Guardians are able to embark on field trips to investigate and solve problems throughout the realm. Also, having the Elders around make it much easier for a bunch of kids to travel around the kingdom with chaperones. So yes, this is a secret school type of setting, and you may have seen those things before, but as a GM, it's perfect for one-shots or for changing up your playing group from mission to mission, because you can set it up so that the PCs start at the Royal Academy, head out on their mission, and then return to the Academy. And that makes it much easier to switch up your group of players from session to session. The Royal Academy, sponsored by the Guild Coalition and the Throne, in my campaign world, is a highly respected educational institution with various programs and activities tailored to children's interests. The rest of the adult population views the Guardians of Getika as an extracurricular youth organization, sort of like the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts in America or the Scout Association in other countries. But the reality is that this club is dedicated to training children in the art of defending the realm from the Frights, and spreading the message to all corners of the kingdom. You could have an NPC elder within the Guardians of Getika organization give merit badges to the PCs for their achievements and accomplishments during their missions. And these badges could represent a lot of different things. They could be skills or abilities that some player character has demonstrated or mastered, such as wilderness survival, banishing a certain type of fright, or working well together as a team. This could actually add a fun and rewarding element to the game, and the PCs could collect and display their badges as a sign of their achievements and their progress in the game. And because it's a secret organization, it might be fun to have the kids come up with a cover story for what the badge represents. Now, if you're going to be using 5e or some modified version of it, like I did, you may want to use one of the custom backgrounds that I created in the playtest material. These are all pretty stripped down backgrounds. They're just a brief description and an extra proficiency. In this setting, a PC could be a ward of the kingdom, and these characters are sponsored by the royal family and admitted to the Royal Academy. They can also be a family legacy, and these are the characters who have been admitted to the Royal Academy at the request of a family member who graduated from the Academy. A PC could also have a guild-sponsored background, and these characters were admitted to the Royal Academy through a scholarship provided through one of the guilds of the Guild Coalition. Or they could be a former Guardian, and these characters are previous Guardians of Getika, who are now Elders, and they're returning to help the new generation of apprentices and Guardians. I put this in there because this is a chance to have other people play with the kids. So you could have a kids game going, adults could join, as elders. Doesn't matter how old the adult is, but they could take the role of an elder and still let the kids be having the fun as the heroes. It's kind of a good mix of how that works. They could also choose from a variety of classes. I'm including some basic mechanics for these classes, again, based on 5e, but adapt whatever you want for your game. Here's a rundown of some of the classes I've included. Protectors, and they focus on guarding others and battling frights with ironwood and asteri steel weapons. Think martial classes like fighter, monk, barbarian, whatever. You could even consider using the warrior sidekick mechanic if you're playing 5e. Explorers focus on skills and tactics and support, and are designed to be versatile members of the group who could scout ahead and navigate difficult terrain and provide sort of tactical support to allies in combat. Think rogues or rangers here, but the 5e expert sidekick class may also be a good fit too. Now, keepers are the spellcasters. They're keepers of arcane, divine, primal, or otherwise mystical knowledge. And keepers can specialize in arcane, healing, or nature-based magic, but they'll have access to their own keeper spell list, which is kind of a mix of a few different things. Think wizards, sorcerers, clerics, and druids, but the 5e spellcaster mechanic is also a good option. Now, regardless of the age of the players, all of the PCs should start at the same level and advance at the same pace. So adults are starting at the same level as kids, they're all advancing at the same pace, to emphasize the importance of teamwork and collaboration. Now we get to the Frights. These are mysterious creatures that take the form of whatever will cause the most fear in a particular situation in that area. And they can really take any form, so reskinning existing monsters is the way to go. When it comes to Frights, you can start with an existing monster that fits the theme of your campaign, then modify its appearance and abilities to make it more Fright-like. For example, say you want to have a Fright that takes the form of a giant spider. Now you could just start with the giant spider stat block, but then modify it. You could change the appearance to be that dark purple translucent energy form that's associated with the Frights. But as a Fright, it also needs to be vulnerable to ironwood or asteri steel. By modifying these elements, you can create a unique Fright that your players will remember long after the game is done. Remember, the key is to start with a base creature that fits your campaign, and then make the changes that enhance it to be more Fright-like. Just remember, as a Fright, they should become translucent, dark purple energy things that dissipate when they're defeated. But when the Frights do damage, they should drain the PC's energy rather than doing physical damage. It still reduces their hit points and leads to eventual unconsciousness. One thing I borrowed from 5e is the death saves mechanic. Instead of death saves, the players have to make 3 successful memory saves. If they fail, they'll wake up, but they will lose the ability to perceive and remember the Frights. This allows kids to roll up a new character without really having to say goodbye to an old one. One of the unique features of this campaign setting is when it comes to the lore, the message they're trying to spread. You can get pretty creative here, but I tend to let the kids think of things on their own. You'd be surprised what they come up with. So during your adventures, you should have the PCs encounter new information about what keeps the Frights away, and then have them come up with ways to spread the word without people even knowing what they're protecting against. This is like spreading superstitions that people just do, sort of like throwing salt over your shoulder or knock on wood, that kind of thing. Things that will get spread in the community and keep Frights away without them really knowing why that started. So they could use this information and turn it into a rhyme, or a song, or a riddle, or something that helps people understand what they need to do, but it spreads easily throughout their own. For example, if the players learn that a Fright won't come through a window or a door where the windowsill or the door's threshold was sprinkled with salt, they may come up with a rhyme like this. Beware the shadows in the night. They seek to cause us all some fright. A pinch of salt, sprinkled like sand, protects our homes and all the land. Then these songs and rhymes can be shared with the people in the story, and they can adopt them and pass them down to future generations. Not only does this help spread the word about the Frights and make sure people are doing what they have to do, but it builds the history of your campaign world, the one that the Guardians of Getika lives inside of. So if you're interested, please don't forget to sign up for the playtest using the link in the description. After you've signed up and confirmed your email, you'll be able to download the playtest packet. It includes information about the subsetting, like I talked about before, but it also includes an adventure module that I wrote and recently ran for my family. You can use that adventure to try everything out, or just come up with your own adventure for the kids. Even if you don't plan on playtesting this, let me know what you think in the comments below. I really appreciate all the input. And if you found today's video helpful, make sure you subscribe and like and notify and all those things so you don't miss out on anything else. It really does help the channel, so thank you. Alrighty, I am ready to start playtesting, and I am excited to have your feedback and suggestions as we continue to develop this subsetting. Together, we can protect the realm from the Frights and help the next generation of Guardians have fun in this hobby. Okay, I'll leave you with a little bit of geek philosophy from President John F. Kennedy. Children are the world's most valuable resource, and its best hope for the future. Cheers.